Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Mastermind. This edition of the Mastermind, but it's always the same edition. It's all good. Hey Jeff, nice to see you here. We got Mitch, Don, and many others. All right, so we'll just wait for a few more people to join in, and then we'll get the show on the road. In the meantime, has anybody got anything fun to share, personal? No, everybody's quiet today.
Feel free to turn your cameras on and join us too. Always good to see smiling faces.
Not just yours, Eric.
I should probably turn my camera off based on the looks, but I'm gonna leave it on anyway.
All right, cool. Well, let's get rolling. So, hey everyone, welcome to this week's Mastermind. When we get together, we're going to share wins, share ideas, and so let's get rolling. Who has a win that they want to share this week? If you don't volunteer, then I'm going to volunteer. Told you.
I have my win for the week.
Cool. You just your audio cut out there for a second. Oh. But share away.
My third StreetText listing is going up this week. I'm getting the listing signed tomorrow. It should go up tomorrow as well. So it's pretty good. I've been with StreetText since about September. So it's again just attending these masterminds, changing a little bit every time you learn something new. Just change a little bit, and then I find my open rate has gone up a lot too since I've sort of I've changed up my background to a more appealing and looks. And again, it's slow but sure, but they do come through as long as you start to make those little changes every email or every time you come to these masterminds. You make a little tweak to something you learn, and I think 3 in a few months is pretty good.
And just because we're definitely going to get this question here, Jeff, somebody's going to ask, what ad are you using? And I'll just tell everybody here, spoiler alert, it's the same ad as you guys are all using right now. And the whole thing that I just kind of gleaned from what Jeff just said is, to me, is so important is that is what the difference is you guys, you keep coming to these meetings, keep making yourselves a little bit better, because, you know, again, what you come in with and everything like that is fantastic, and you're going to be able to do great stuff with it. But there's always just something that somebody else is doing might spur that extra little, you know, whatever it is in your brain. And it's not the leads are different. It's not the ads are different. It's just that follow up and that follow through. And that's kind of what we typically see is the separation. So the fact, you know, Jeff, you've been with us a while now, and it's not always, you know, gumdrops and rainbows or whatever, but you just keep improving. And now, I mean, again, you're starting to close deals, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And
I got a quick question for Jeff. I follow Jeff on Facebook, and Jeff puts out some great videos. I'm just curious as to what you use to curate and create those videos that you do, Jeff.
My iPhone.
Do you edit them all yourself?
Yes, I do. Yeah, it's with WeVideo. It's a simple web-based editing software. It's nothing too fancy. It comes with it comes with B-roll, comes with music, comes with stuff like that, and it's very simple. I can put a link to it down in the chat. Let me just I'll pull it up. But yeah, I've been using that because I had another one. I had I forget what it was called. Not Shutterstock, but it was Storyblocks. But Storyblocks was a little too expensive, and it didn't include audio, and it had the B-roll, but it didn't include the audio. So I then switched over to WeVideo, and I use that. So I'll put that down in the chat so you guys can take a look at it. And then I've also been incorporating that into my emails as well, sort of like Linnea's done. I've started to do some community videos and stuff like that. So and then the best chicken wing joint in Brantford and stuff, and just simple like other ones that are like the 8 simple steps to buying a home, stuff like that, and then working them into my drip campaigns through KV Core. So I just put them into the template under KV Core, and I send them as the drip campaign. So now I have more videos now, but when I started it was just one. So I would just put that one in, and then the next time I would put that one in. And now to the point I'm doing about 4 videos a month roughly, so I'm trying to do about a 2-week. But if you do that, then you can actually create another email that's a newsletter of nothing but your YouTube videos for that month or whatever. So like people can send that out. That's what I'm working on right now. I'm checking out MailChimp and everything like that. But I've been just using KV Core and making my own smart campaigns that way.
Great videos. For those of you who don't check out Jeff on his Facebook page, and I'm assuming on his YouTube page as well, because the videos are really well done, and I can easily see how you can seamlessly put them into your action plans that you're shooting up to your StreetText leads.
Yeah, and then I ran a just listed ad on a house I have in Paris, and like again, the testament to what the amount of leads that a buyer ad brings in. I actually ended up reaching out to another agent, brand new agent, and I was like, I can't keep up with these with the what's your home worth ad, and trying to get these CMAs out along with I think I got 57 leads in, I think it was like 3 weeks or something like that. I was like, trying to follow up with the sellers and now these buyers. I was like, I had to reach out to a new agent and just get him to hop on board and follow up with those ones. Like I'd rather do a 50-50 split with him and have him follow up than them slip through the cracks and me not follow up with him, just because again with the what's your home worth ad, I'm probably getting at least probably 10 to 15 leads a week or something like that. It's just tough to keep up once you run another ad, right? Like I ended up having to stop it for now because we're going to do a price change, but I'm going to do it again and just feed those leads to your buyer agent and go from there, because I said you can only do so much as one person, right? But yeah, those are my wins. Lots of leads from the buyer, just listed ad, and I got third listing coming up in probably by tomorrow. It'll be up.
And Jeff, are you using like our property listing template within our template?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
And you mentioned you were taking it down because of a price adjustment. Are you putting the price on the front of the ad?
So the first ad I did, like on another property I had down in Waterford, I didn't put the ad. I didn't put the price, and I just got a lot of, "What's the price? What are you trying to hide? Why are you being so dishonest?" And I was like, you know what? Like, I was replying to them simply as like, no, that's what ads are for, is to get you to click on them. Thank you for engaging on my ad. Like there was just a lot of negative comments on why won't I just put the price or whatever, and I'm being dishonest. Like, and that that's a given. Like the ad is supposed to make you want to click. So, and then the engagement just boosts my ad. So like, I don't care if it's negative or not, whatever they say on my ads, it boosts the engagement. Facebook loves it. It puts it in front of more people. But like, it's usually just thank you for your comment, and sorry you're angry. But this time, I'd say I ran on the first one I ran buyers ad. I probably got it was like 47 leads in 2 weeks or something like that. And then this one, I put the price, and there's no nasty comments or whatever, but there's a couple likes. There's not as much engagement on it, but but when I stopped, I was at about 57 leads, and that was just, I stopped it on Monday because we were supposed to do a price adjustment, but like I said, we might get an offer now from one of the showings, so we're just sort of holding off on that. But I'll probably fire it back up
That's important as well, though, Jeff, is that's kind of where we recommend everybody start. Come in on the defaults, follow the typical suggestions. And typically I find, no price, no area, things like that, put in some amenities, things like that. But you also have to play with the market. If you're getting particular feedback from your local community, well, double down on what they're telling you. And if they're telling you, hey, we would prefer to see price, well, you don't know until you try it. So do another ad and do exactly what you've done and see what the differences are. And for me, and what you said is incredibly important as well. Comments are very important. They've always been important on Facebook. And when you can turn one comment into 3, you've just tripled your engagement on your ad by simply asking that question or answering somebody's question within your ad. And always remember, you're not only just answering that individual, you're answering the next 10,000 people who are going to see this ad. They might be wondering that same thing, whatever was posed to you. And again, if you're getting a pretty consistent stream of, we want the price, we want the price, we want the price, well, let's try giving them the price.
Just give them. Hey, you save yourself a lot of time. It's like on my main ad that I've been running since September, the what's your homework one. Like I've got people actually having full-on conversations with each other back and forth on it, and like I moderate it or whatever, make sure it doesn't get out of hand. But I just see that as positive engagement. Like I don't necessarily respond to their conversations, but like if someone asks me a question or says something funny or whatever, then I'll be like, that's true. Or I think someone said, now that my igloo is melted, my house is worth less, about half or whatever. And so I just laughed at that or whatever. Another person asked, because I have a picture of the water tower here. Somebody asked, was like, it'd be great if they put condos up there. Or what is that big antenna that's sitting on the top of it? Or, I said, yeah, you get some incredible views off of the top of the water tower. But yeah, I'd say like I've done a few video ads as well, just through Facebook Ad Manager, but that was just mainly to boost the views for the listing video, which is like I think I got 21,000 views on a listing video, all within two weeks or whatever. And that stuff it's just like Krista says, like that stuff is like money in the bank when you walk into a listing presentation and you say, hey, look at Joe Glow's listing. He put the listing video up and it got 128 views. And then I pull up mine, and the last 2 that I've had, one got 14,000 views, the other one got 21,000 views. It's easy to be like, hey, who's better at getting your home exposed to people, right? So you're able to, you can use StreetText as a way to show them that you're actively, like, say I have an active list of buyers that are coming in who I can then shop your listing to, who come in from other ads that I've run. Or it's the same thing on the buyer side. You can say, here's all of the homes that I have phone numbers and addresses to. If we can't find you a home that's available on the market now, I can call any one of these people up, right? And I think it was it Trevor or Troy, or no, I think he had mentioned the cyber stalking these people. So what you can do is you can go on like your land registry system, pull up when they bought, put that into your KV core system or your CRM system, and you can put as much details as you can about the house, the bungalow, 3-bedroom, it's in the north end, it's blah blah blah. And then should you ever get a buyer that's looking in that area and there's nothing available, you can call these guys and say, hey, I provided you with a home evaluation. I have a buyer who's actually looking to buy something similar to your house, right? So the more information you can put into your KV core system or your CRM system with these seller leads, the better, because especially if you start putting like the date that they purchased. So like if they bought in 2017, chances are is their mortgage is coming up for renewal. Like up here in Canada, it's different. We can't pull all that information to find out how much they owe on the property and stuff like that. So, but we can pull up when they last bought, right? So you're able to record that, and then this is something I'm doing moving forward. I actually just started doing a couple months ago, is just to put in their anniversary date when they bought the house, right? Because say they bought in 2017 and in 2022, guess what? Their 5-year mortgage rate term is coming up, or their 5-year term is coming up. So chances are, is they're going to either need to refinance, or like re-sign their mortgage, or 2, they might want to sell. So those are to me your low-hanging fruit. When you pull it up and you see that the date's 2017 or 2012, every 5 years, right? And if you're able to put that into your system, you can almost actually search it and be like, who bought in 2017? Pull all those people up. So that's the one thing I like about StreetText is now I think my database is around 700 people, 800 people, and that was from nothing. Like I moved to a new city, I knew nobody here, and now I have a database of about 700 people, right? So the more information you can get, the better, in my opinion. I haven't even started to work the address only once.
Jeff, I got a quick question for you. Since you're doing your videos and the YouTube stuff, are you doing any YouTube shorts, or are you just sticking with the regular videos?
Yeah, so I'm just sticking with the regular videos. The shorts, like I'm monitoring. Like it's the good thing about long form content is that you can split it up after that and create your shorts from it. I don't have the time right now to go back and cut the things into shorts. Like if that's what I'm sort of working towards, getting more people to help me so I have more time to do these things, because I enjoy editing. Like it's therapeutic to me. And really, like I've outsourced a couple thumbnails and stuff to Fiverr, but at the end of the day, like I spend more time trying to explain to them my vision for it than it would take for me to do it myself, right? So like, also, I'll continue to test out Fiverr and different people, but that's the thing with Fiverr. It's like hiring someone. You have to hire a bunch of them and then pick the best one. Like if you're gonna do it, hire 5 people to create the same thumbnail or whatever, or 5 people to do the same video, and then pick the best one, and then otherwise, it's gonna be hit or miss, right? But overall, I've had a good experience on that side, but on the short side of things, I haven't really delved into it. All my stuff is anywhere between 7 and 12 minutes. I think like the sweet spot on YouTube is 8 to 10, I think is what they prefer. But again, YouTube is one of those long haul things. Like I started back in December after Krista Mayshore's digital boot camp. I started to lean heavily into the content creation or whatever, and then it's just a matter of keeping consistent, because that's what YouTube loves, right? Like if you're going to post once a week, post once a week, like, and if you're going to do it, batch your stuff. Don't try to do it on the fly. Like record 4 videos all at once. Like it's like Krista says, like just take an afternoon, outfit change. Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought I heard someone. That's pretty much it. It's just like, just try to make it easier on yourself. Like I've got my next 2 videos planned out or whatever. And I plan to go do the filming on Thursday morning or whatever. Like it's supposed to, or well, on the next sunny day. Like it's supposed to rain here today. I was gonna do it today, but it seems like every time I want to go record videos, it clouds over and it's windy. So like, but yeah, I think once you create that content, especially if it's like evergreen or if it's like the videos of the neighborhoods, or you can use that forever. It's stuff that people want to see. I mean, I've done a video about what you can get for 600,000, what you can get for 700,000, 900,000, sort of just the different price ranges, right? And then my next goal after I'm doing 500 and 400, like 1,000 videos, and then after that, I'm just going to do neighborhood tour, like drive through the neighborhood, show where the schools are, the community center, and then stuff like that. And then I say the universe works like in mysterious ways, in ways that like I was searching for a videography crew to sort of help me, and I didn't really want to pay them because again, I like your free 99 lane. So I put it out into a group, like a Facebook group of my town, and I just started to say, hey, I wanted to do these interviews for these businesses. If they're free, And so I ended up getting a lot of people interested, but then another videography or like guys who wanted to start to break into the real estate market, they ended up posting and saying that they wanted to do like this is something similar. And I said, hey guys, like I'm willing to help you, build out your portfolio if you're willing to help me with these interviews, and like even they want to do real estate videos and photography. I said, come to this listing, do the listing video and everything like that. I actually still hired like an actual company or whatever, but I gave these guys a chance to do their stuff, and now hopefully, like I said, they just got their first paying customer and whatnot. But my goal with them is like, hey, I helped you get off the ground, help me out and not charge me an arm and a leg to do these things. You know what I mean? So it's really like everyone helping everyone, because when I'm doing the community videos, it's the videographers are doing me a favor by filming, and then I'm doing the business a favor by giving them some exposure. And then also I told the business owners that the videography guys will do a little business spotlight for them, right? Because they're looking to build their portfolio. And again, as you meet more people, and that's the whole point, is just to get out into the community.
And I really like that. There's a lot of really good points you made there, Jeff. And I would say, a couple that I pulled from it obviously is the locally relevant content. Again, we're local small business owners, so anytime we can highlight the other people around us, it's good for us, it's good for the community, it's good for the people who are seeing us as well. And then the other one obviously was the listing ads, and that's something that I'm not seeing enough of. We saw a trend, I'd say last year, where people were really starting to promote we got a new listing ad, and they were starting to work really well. And we've seen a little bit of the momentum in terms of how many people are running them slow down a little bit. However, the effectiveness of them has not really slowed down whatsoever. So something I would recommend to every single person, and I know most people here are saying, hey, I want more sellers. And I know if you've been coming to the masterminds, you've been hearing buyers ads, find sellers, all this stuff. There's nothing better in my eyes than an actual listing, because again, even as a current homeowner, when I see a listing that really, gets my attention, I want to start looking at that type of property. So starting to look at, just like we do those buyers ads, if you say, hey, get a list of single family homes in Kelowna under $1 million. Well, again, as a single family homeowner, you're not really offering me much of anything that's necessarily going to move the needle. Whereas if you offer me a list of pool homes under $1 million or something like that. So if you can come up with a listing in your area, whether it's yours or not, that you think is, maybe median, slightly above the median, but has that particular amenity that people might be looking to upgrade to. There's people right now that are probably looking to make that move. So again, you have legitimate homeowners who might be interested in that property that you're showing, and they'd be willing to start talking to you about it. And then, hey, I have a home that I would need to sell first before we're able to, take this too seriously. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So strongest of recommendations, if you don't already have a property listing running, even if you don't have your own listing, find a listing that you can advertise. Let's even at a lower rate. If you're running most of your ads at $9, $10, $12 a day, we can get away with the property listings ones usually a little bit less expensive. So heavily recommend coming to some of the ads classes and building those ones. You can even come to the custom ads class this Wednesday or today, I guess. If you guys want to come, and I'd be happy to help you guys put those together as well. It's really easy to create and highly effective. So something I would recommend there. Now, if anybody else has any questions for Jeff, go ahead and unmute yourself. Otherwise, I want to make sure that Alyssa gets her question or comment answered. So Alyssa, go ahead if you had something you wanted to add.
My question actually was for Jeff or anyone, because I know a lot of people are doing this. So I've been wanting to, also promote video ads on Facebook. And I know that's not something we do with StreetText, but I don't really know how. So I'd love some advice on that. It's basically my neighbors that are seeing my videos right now.
So with the video ads or whatever, it's like, again, you can, like I was talking to some of the guys from StreetText, it's like you can run the ad through StreetText and then go into Facebook Ad Manager and then switch the picture for a video. But what I've just done is I've sort of gone into my Facebook ad manager, and then I figured out how to run them. It's not that once it's a learning curve. So it seems like it's daunting in the beginning, but the more you do it, the more you learn, or you watch I'm a big fan of like anything I don't know, I just throw it into YouTube, and usually someone will show me how to do it. But again, there's different things, like the whole retargeting thing is another beast in itself. But you can easily run like a video views ad, or you can run like there's the video views, engagement, and what's the other one? The reach ads, because the reach gets it in front of the most amount of people. Video views gets it in front of people who who Facebook knows likes to watch video, and the engagement ads gets in front of people who like to engage on posts, right? So you can run 3 different ones on, like 3 ads on the same ad, that with different objectives, pretty much. And that's how I've been doing it. And what you can do is you natively you create a post on Facebook, natively load that video onto Facebook as a post, because one of the things I first did was I created an ad in Facebook, and then it was or like a video ad, and it was one of like the best video ads that I had performing or whatever, but I didn't have it as a post on my page, right? So to find it, you can't find it. So I thought, create the post on your page and then go into Facebook Ad Manager and then connect that post to the ad, which then it will allow you to add the learn more or the send a message now, or like it'll give you a call to action on it that you can do. And that's sort of the best way to do that. But like I said, if you're running Facebook ads, it can get expensive. Like one thing they don't really talk to you about is like Kristen says, run it for 2 weeks. And then when you're running that for 2 weeks and you're doing a video a week or 2 video a week, it starts to layer down, right? Like, so all of a sudden you're running 4 ads at $2 a day, and if you don't turn the ones off or whatever, like it can start to get rather expensive. So you just got to keep an eye on how long the run. You can set up a schedule so that it shuts off every 2 weeks or whatever. But if you start pumping out content and loading it natively onto Facebook, it sort of it'll get expensive quick. Like if you're doing that frequently, like, but if you want to get your listing more or your video more views, then that's sort of the way to go. It's a learning curve. The one thing, like I said, I love about StreetText, and I won't ever give it up. It's just like, 1, the community, and 2, it's just how simple it is to set things up. Like when you're setting up the ads, it's 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. In Facebook Ad Manager, it's a little more complicated. But again, it's like I said, I would just stick to, like, for your static posts or just listed, just stick to StreetText. So I know they're coming up with a video function soon, but if you're a little bit more technically inclined, jump into Facebook Ad Manager and try to learn that a little bit. But like I said, that's how you sort of promote your videos.
So you said create the post first and then promote it?
Yeah. So you create the post. Yeah. So you upload your video natively to Facebook, and then go into Facebook Ad Manager, and on the third, I think it's like the third screen, it asks if you want to create a post or use an existing post. I use the use existing post because then I can go into my videos tabs or whatever, and I can say, hey, look, I've got, like, on average on the ones that I promoted, I've got about 2,000, 3,000 views on them. And then it's easy to go into a listing presentation and be like, hey, look, I've got an audience of 3,000 people watching not my listing videos, but just my community videos or my business video or my those other ones, right? And that in itself holds clout. Like, you can pull up your competition and go, okay, well, let's go to their Facebook page. It's like Kristen said, and then you pull up their videos, and they have 60 views, 100 views, 200 views, 300 views from 6 months ago, and you say, look, I posted this one 2 weeks ago. I've got 21,000 views on it. Like, who do you think can get you more exposure on Facebook, which is where 93% of all home searches start? Like
Right.
it starts to become a tool that you can help differentiate yourself with, right? Like I haven't signed up for Kristen's stuff because it's just like it's not in my budget right now. But
I've done the boot
I've
camp
been just trying to figure it out. Like again,
Yeah.
she's just great at what she does, and if you can skip a bunch of steps and get to there, totally worth the money. But again, you just learn as you go, and every day just try to figure out something new, follow someone who's done it, and try to figure out how they did it, right? So
Thanks, Jeff.
One thing I want to throw on that though for Facebook is you have to remember, if you're posting YouTube ads on Facebook, even though you get views, it'll get suppressed because that is YouTube's, YouTube is their competition. So what I've found easier to do is when you make your video, go ahead and post it straight from your phone or whatever into Facebook. And then below that in your editing stuff, drive them to your YouTube channel. Because when Facebook looks at the video, it's like, okay, it's not a YouTube video because the HTML code or whatever code they read. But you can still have the stuff underneath a link to drive them to YouTube and you'll get them there. And that way you'll still get your views. And it's not really a lot more work because it's just the same video. You're just posting it from your phone or camera or whatever you use rather than the YouTube link, because the link will get you suppressed for the video.
yeah, well, the main thing from what I've been learning is that every platform wants people to stay on that platform. Instagram users want to stay on Instagram. Facebook wants people to stay on Facebook. YouTube wants people to stay on YouTube. So again, you're right. They will suppress anything that leads them off the site. So uploading it, you're just uploading the same video that you would to YouTube to Facebook. And what should I call it? What was I going to say?
I assume the same thing with TikTok. If I do a TikTok,
Same thing with TikTok. Yeah, they want you to stay. And what I find is, what I've been noticing is that the people, like each platform has different kind of audiences, right? So like TikTok has got, people who are like, if you think about when you're on these platforms, people are very specific for what they use them for. For TikTok, it's entertainment, it's quick. They're in the grocery store lineup. They're waiting for, they're waiting at the cash register. They're sitting on the toilet, whatever. They don't have 10 minutes to watch something. They want 60 seconds and they want out. Same thing with Facebook and Instagram. It's all about anything under a minute, anything over a minute. You start to lose people. Long form content isn't necessarily thing. So YouTube's great for the long form content, and then eventually you're able to break that long form content down into these shorter clips in order to put them on these other platforms, right? And that's the one thing I love about YouTube is that I haven't started it, but now I'm starting up. My library is growing because I've been doing 2 a week for, I'd say, the last 4 months or whatever. So I think I'm up to like 60 some odd videos. But again, it's just get in front of the camera. No one's good. No one's perfect. It's the same thing like for your BombBomb videos and everything. Like if I go back to my first BombBomb video that I recorded for my StreetText, it was god awful. Like it was, it was like I have a big black glass blackboard right beside me or whatever, and I used to use that as my background, and then slowly I started to create more of a YouTube background. So again, just putting things that behind you that speak to your personality. It's about watch all of the videos on the training where they tell you like wave and smile, and I found by just putting an extra light in the background or whatever will open up. I have a little red light back there. It adds a little bit of color. That kind of just anything you can do to sort of boost their engagement instead of just sitting in front of the screen like this and think your home evaluation is be like just smile for a minute and say their name. I have the Big View app, but because I record on my phone, I don't use it. I just say their name within their first little bit and wave. I found my watch time really goes up when I smile and wave. It's like that song, you know.
Well, and the biggest mistake people do with video I see is that A, they don't do it at all, and B, they follow it's too scripted, right? And I think what you're saying is bang on with, in my opinion, you need to be yourself. And I've said this a million times on previous, calls where people aren't choosing the agent based on their accolades. People don't choose the agent based on how many homes you sold yesterday, last week, last month, last year. Most people don't really care. They want to know that they have a real person who is, ready to help them. And I think that's where video comes in. It's the ability to highlight you as a real individual, your personality, and the fact that you're actually, again, ready to be able to help them. I think that's incredibly important. So, again, you didn't start, Jeff, with your first video being a banger right out of the gate. Absolutely not. And it's not expected to be. I remember the first video I ever did. I remember watching it back going like, yikes. Like even you a year later and you watch some of your first videos, you're like, how on earth did I even create that? But you got to start somewhere, and you don't know what to improve until you know what to improve. So create your content, create these videos, go back and watch them, watch your old videos years later, and you can see how far you've come. And again, you'll know it in the numbers. You'll see that your numbers have increased and improved, and everything has gotten better and easier. Well, a lot of it is laying that foundation, doing the hard work at first. It's, eat the frog, right? It's kind of what you grow up learning is do what you don't want to do first, get it out of the way, and you get better at it as it goes, it gets easier.
Yeah, and attend these meetings. Like I've probably attended like every single one for the last, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 months. And again, just take those little nuggets from Leon, from Linnea, find out what they're doing, and find out how you can incorporate it into yours. Just come here every Wednesday, and it's like a gold. It's like a gold mine. Like even if you're just listening in the background or you rewatch it later or whatever, just there's a lot of gold that comes from this.
Well, exactly. That's what we're talking about, is laying the foundation, right? And I mean, a lot of times somebody else has already laid that foundation. So come and hear what they've done and go from there. Sorry, Jeff, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No worries. I've got a quick question for Jeff, because it pains me to hear him tell us that he's farming out his leads on a 50-50 basis to another agent. And what I heard was that's simply because your process for pushing out your CMAs is too lengthy and you don't have the time. Is that right?
Well, it's not that necessarily. Like my CMAs, like I take 10, like I batch them because I batch everything. So I wait till about 10 come in. I make sure it doesn't go past 6 days or whatever. But through the process of doing those and following up, and then like it just when 57 leads come in 2 weeks, like I'd rather like nothing falls through the crack and have someone solely focused on that. I could follow up on my own, but there's a book back here. It's called Who Not How. And it's about who can help me. Who can help me get these things done, because I only have so many hours a day. And when you're content, like I've now officially like declared myself a content creator, because that's what I do all the time now. Is I need the who can help me get who can help me get to my house, or whatever, like who can help me get this stuff done. And I'm willing, like my ultimate goal is to never open another door, is to never have to do another showing or whatever. If I can crank in the leads and give them to my team and they work them, and I can continue doing what I love to do, which is content creating and editing and just being the voice and the face around here, that's ultimately what I want to do. Like I love real estate. I still want to do my listings and everything like that. But if I'd rather have someone else solely focused on those leads than me being half focused on those leads and some of them falling through the cracks. Like I'm in constant contact with these guys, or like with the guy. I don't know if he's here on chat or in the thing, but I got them to sign up for the StreetText thing, and I'm about building my team out, right? As opposed to, because I was on a team in my other city, and then when I moved to this new city, it was just me. So that's why I joined StreetText. That's why now I've got the leads coming in, and I don't want to get to the point where, I just because I didn't call Timmy who put in a request for the buyer's ad, he finds another agent or whatever. Like and just because I didn't have the time to follow up with him or whatever, right? Like they all go into my drip system, but my thing is like don't let things fall through the cracks. You know what I mean? Like if you're finding yourself to be sort of overwhelmed, like even my bomb videos, they're a minute 30 seconds. I don't do these 5-minute things. I just give them a brief overview, and I say like, based on what your home, like what's for sale, what's sold, your home is worth this. It could be worth more, could be worth less. I have to come see it. I haven't seen the inside. I haven't seen any of the upgrades you've done since you purchased it, right? And it's tough, like with StreetText, like they put in their the updates that they've done, but half the time, like that email doesn't make it through, or you have 10 and you didn't see it. So like I just put in there, it's like I haven't seen for myself the upgrades that you've done. It's important for me to come see those in order to give you a more accurate number. And then I'll do like a quick little market update. We're now into the spring market. Last month, 30% more listings, blah, blah. And then Krista's whole thing, like I included a copy of the CMA with some of the recent sales in here, along with a sample of our marketing plan, which I ended up building out myself about the digital marketing or whatever, and getting your home exposed to the masses, and not just a few through a detailed digital marketing strategy, right? It's about 1.5 minutes on each video, but when you're getting these constantly in and you're trying to create content on top of that and do your regular work, it starts to become a lot. If you run more than one ad and you're getting in 75 leads a week or whatever, like that starts to become a little much for one person to handle. So that's my goal, is to set up a team in order to I want to bring in the leads, and I want to focus solely on lead generation and hand it to people that I know and I feel comfortable with to handle it. And in this case, it's a new agent. I'm helping him out. He's helping me out, and it's a win-win. Like I know I'd rather have 50% of something than 0% of nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and then that's a lot of things. I'm helping him out. He's helping me out. That's my goal, really. Like I just want to build a culture where I can step back and just focus on the things that I love, like especially like the city. I think there's a lot of untapped potential in the city when it comes to content creation and or like EXP in general. But that's ultimately my goal. It's not just that I'm just handling it out because like I don't want to deal with it. It's just I want to make sure that everyone is taken care of to the best of the ability, and then nothing slips through the cracks. Because I'm doing what, I don't know who mentioned it, but you go back to your, like, because now I've been in it for like 6 months, right, or more than that now, probably 9 months. And so now, again, because I've been improving over time, doing cyber stalking now. Well, guess what? I didn't do that cyber stalking to all of those leads in the beginning, right? So now, like I've even got my girlfriend to jump on and to go back and run those addresses through the land registry system, pull them up on MLS to find out, what area they're in, if it's a bungalow. Like, 'cause I did that all originally, but I put it all down on paper. But what I've started to do was, as I'm doing these home evaluations, is I take that information and I put it directly into my KV core system. So instead of writing it down on a piece of paper, so that I'm able to, again, reference it back. But I've already, like, just through some of the stuff that, like, having my girlfriend go through my older leads, I've already seen that some slip through the cracks, right? And that's what I don't want. Like, I don't want to, like, have their phone number and this and that. But like I said, like in December, I think at the end of the year, I took a week off or 2 weeks off, and sure enough, that was my busiest time. Like that was the bit. I think I must have got like 30, 40 leads all in that time. I spent the first 2 months of the year just catching up on the CMAs, and that in itself was not good. Like it was the time, like it ended up being like 10 days, and I would get them their CMA, which you should really aim to get it done in 5 or 4, right? So that's where I started to realize I needed help. and I'm only one person. Like I can only do so much. I only got so many hours a day. So I'm finding the who to help me get my how. You know, like how can I make sure these people don't fall through the cracks? Find the who that can help you. It's the same thing. You don't know how to run your Facebook ads? Guess what? StreetText is the people who can help you. Like, you know, it's just finding those people that will help you reach your goal and making it mutually beneficial to everybody. Like I'm not a greedy guy. I don't want, like, I could do 30, 70, 30 or whatever, or 25, 75, 25 or whatever, but they're putting in the work, they're putting in the effort. I'm putting my trust in them. And ultimately that's my thing, is I just want to grow my team and eventually just be able to, you know, step back and let my team handle it. And that's my ultimate goal. And like I say, like your why or your goal in your business. Like, do you want to be doing this until you're 80, opening doors, doing home inspections? No, like, and content creation and lead generation is the thing that agents need to do the best in order to stay in business. But at the same time, you know, it'll allow you to sort of live the life you want to live if you're able to build a team and get them to handle some of the stuff that you might not necessarily be focusing on 100%, right? Because I'm focusing on the seller leads, and again, like Leon said or Logan says, sometimes these buyers are home sellers, right? And if one of them's a home seller and I didn't make it around to calling them, that's my fault, right? You know, and that's what I don't want. I don't want it to fall through the cracks, right?
You know, and you have to know your strategy and your plan moving forward as well. Like there's so many different ways of doing this. And again, we always come back to, that's why we're on the mastermind, is that there's not one way of doing this. There's literally endless amounts of you know, opportunities and ways to kind of handle everything. And for me, for instance, if I wasn't looking to build a team and I wanted to handle everything solo, of course, my puppy's going to start barking now. Fantastic, good timing. But you know, for me, I would lean into BombBomb and make sure that every single person that comes through, I've made sure that they've received some type of automation from me where it identifies me as a real person, lets them know, look, a CMA isn't forthcoming quite yet. In order for me to get you a CMA, I still need the following information. So once you get that back to me, then I will personally get to work on that CMA for you. And that might come day 1, day 3, month 18. But I've got specific videos in my follow-up that basically say, hey, it's been about 6 months since you requested a property valuation from me. I still have yet to hear back from you, unfortunately. So I have yet to start on your valuation. Let me know this, that, and the other thing. Whereas the other way to look at this is exactly the same thing. That's kind of where I started my business, is I started building a team. And for me, I found that I don't like firing people. It's not a lot of fun. So after bringing a few people onto my team and realizing they weren't a good, you know, fit for my team moving forward, having to kind of remove them wasn't ideal. So what I chose to do is similar to what you're doing now. It sounds like, Jeff, where I brought somebody on. It wasn't necessarily a team implication. It was more of a, hey, I've got extra work. I've got a few listings I won't be able to get to. I'm going to pass them over to you and kind of throw them your direction and then see how that individual does. If that individual does well and I get good feedback from the clients, hey, why not? This is a good addition to my team, and then so on and so forth. And what I was able to do is build a little bit of a hierarchy structure where certain particular price points, particular agents on my team got those price points, and then I would add somebody new to the kind of the bottom rung, and they'd work their way up until I had, you know, enough people that I could rely on for the different, you know, whatever. It turns out for me, I'm a control freak, and running a big team wasn't ideal for me personally. I found that out, but that's ideal. And again, you have to know yourself, and not any one person is going to follow, you know, one journey necessarily from start to finish. You have to be ready to make those moves. And if you find, hey, I've got 100 leads a week coming in, again, there's so many different ways to kind of get after all those individuals. And for you, if you feel that, you know, relying on the automations is not, you know, providing that kind of pathway that you're looking for, I think it's a great idea, bringing somebody else in, working with them. But again, that's not necessarily for everybody. So, you know, really good information though. And I really appreciate you sharing all that, Jeff. That's great. Dimitri, you've had your hand up for a little bit. Did you have something you wanted to ask Jeff, or something you wanted to add as well?
Yes, I have a question for Jeff. So Jeff, you were talking as you got into doing videos that you found that you get a lot more engagement if you, so to speak, act on video, use your hands, your smiling, whatever, right? That you test different sets, the backgrounds, right? And I'm not talking, green screen, but the real settings, right? What I would love to hear from you, any more insight on this? So I'm right now in the midst of figuring out the real plan for my YouTube. I mean, there are some other dependencies in this plan, but one of this, I want to get your tips and also any resources you could point to on pretty much how to act on YouTube video, if this is a way to describe it, and what is a list of different background settings you would recommend to try for the mix of videos.
So yeah, for your background on your YouTube, or say even on a Zoom call, like I've been on several Zoom calls and people are like, oh, like what are those books you have back there? Or they can see that it's the YouTube formula, the Atomic Habits, and the Who Not How. So I picked books because I used to have audio, what's it called, audio or whatever, that program, that app on your phones, that's the audio books or whatever. But once I stopped paying for that, all my access to my books disappeared. So I am now a big fan of having a physical copy, which again, you can mark up, you can go back to or whatever. But I'm a big book reader. I read 1 or 2 books a month usually. And so what I've done with my background is I've sort of made things that are uniquely me. And what I do like necessarily is like, one, like behind me I have a map of Brantford or whatever, so that if I'm on either side of my screen, you can see that Brantford is in the background. I just went to it's like an inter-county baseball league here in Brantford. They have their own Brantford Red Sox, so I'm trying to incorporate local things in my background so that people know that I'm in the community. The 226 back there is a local area code, which I want to sort of brand in my sense. Like I was doing it, like my videos were first called Everything in the 226, but then I realized that not everyone's going to search for that. So I've changed it now to Exploring Brantford. But again, it's just trial and error. Put stuff in your background that, like, if you're a nerd and you love Star Wars, put a helmet back there. Or you love movies and you have a certain franchise you love, put it back there, because people are gonna resonate with you. They're gonna resonate with the things in your background. They're like, oh, he likes, say you love putting together Lego or whatever, those master builds, those big. If you have one of those on your back shelf and someone's like, oh, I love that, you want to attract the people that are similar to you, that like things you do. Now, I said, what else I have in the background on the top there is, like Krista says, it's the manifesto. And it's like I always said, just drink the Kool-Aid. Like I used to think that having a manifesto or something up in the background or whatever, like in your office, it's like, yeah, whatever. Like that's kind of silly or whatever. But like, I don't read it every day, but it is in my view every day. And so when I walk into my office, I'm subconsciously looking at it. And like, it's I didn't create it myself. I just went on to Google and typed in work hard manifesto or something like that. And it was actually an Amazon picture. And I just printed it on my printer, and I went to the dollar store, I put it in a frame, and there we go. So like, in terms of background, I would just suggest putting things that are uniquely you, right? Like on the other side of the thing there, I have my second Dan black belt certificate for Taekwondo, because I was doing Taekwondo for a long time. And just little things so people can sort of see what you have. I have please remove your shoes or whatever. And that's just so people know it's real estate related, right? So it's just adding things that add to your personality. And if I originally had my like when I was facing my camera, I was facing into the corner. So like you don't necessarily need to have a big section of your office all set up for YouTube. You know, like just have that one background or one corner in your house that has some of the stuff that you know that you like the best with some lights. And if you're gonna do YouTube videos, make sure that like I don't have it set up right now, but I have a mic here, so like your sound quality is more important than your video in most cases. Like if you can have the best video in the world, if your audio is off, chances are is people aren't going to watch it. So just make sure your audio is on point. Like that, my whole audio setup cost me less than $200. As per how to act on video, it's really just again. So I credited a lot to some of the stuff I learned off Krista. They said that everybody has something you can learn from. She did a thing that was charisma style or something. There was a link to a website that I forget. I'll see if I have it or whatever. I know she shares it, so I'm not. But it's charisma. But basically, it's like a survey that you can take, and then it tells you what your style is like. And it's don't try to be something that you're not. You know, like if you talk fast, like I did a listing video and I had the here, I'll put it in the chat here in a sec. Just a quick simple test that shows you exactly what your charisma style is like and how to act, like what's natural to you. Because like if you start trying to act a certain way that's not you, people will know that. They'll be like, oh, this person's they're not being authentic. They're acting or whatever. And you don't want to act away on video and then show up to their house and act a different way. Like I talk fast, I use my hands. If you can't keep up, like Chris says, you can't keep up, that you're just not the person for me, right? Don't try to, like if you talk with your hands, don't try to hold your hands down. So be animated, be yourself. If you like a lot of numbers, use a lot of numbers. You know, those are the things that people are going to attract to you. It's the same thing for your drip campaigns and everything. When you do your bombs, obviously you can start off scripted, but eventually you'll learn that script and you can do it offshoot without the script. And realistically, what I've noticed too is, or one tip I have or I got recently was turn your phone around. Don't use your selfie camera. Use this camera. Like make sure obviously like your phone's set up and it's like all perfect in the background, but use this camera. Don't use your selfie camera, because when you use your selfie camera, you're looking at yourself most of the time and making sure that you're fine or whatever, but you're not getting that eye contact that really resonates with it, right? Like you and that's one thing I just changed recently is I turned my phone the other way around and I've been recording, and you can see the difference because you're looking into these, like this is pretty much like a face to me. It's like two eyes and a mouth, you know, like, so I just stare at those and like, so you're looking directly into the camera and and that's the connection, instead of you looking sort of off or down to your screen. And then, you know, with the scripting, I wouldn't say necessarily I was using a teleprompter when I first started, but you could tell that I was reading teleprompter. Just record in sections. Do like a 2 second or like a 2-sentence film. Be like, you know, today in the real estate market, you know, 30% new listings came up and the prices were down. And then shut up. and then do your next segment, you know, and then edit those parts out, and it'll look like you're constantly speaking. Like the way, as long as you're not like moving around in your chair, you can clip them. You can clip the bad parts out and push them together, and it looks like one fluid take. And not many people will know that, you know, you've edited it or whatever, right? So, but I said it's the same thing for your bomb videos, and you're going through your drip campaigns. Read the email. You know, like if you want to do your own editing, it's like what's your crazy home, or what, like don't overprice your home or whatever. Just if you want to take a day just to do that one video, do it, edit it, and then upload it to BombBomb, and then people won't even notice that, you know, you didn't do it all in one take, because you can't memorize everything. You can't. It's like you're gonna say something and then you're gonna forget. So do 2 sentences, perfect, stop. Then do the next 2 sentences, stop. Like that's because you're gonna mess up. You can't. You can try to memorize a whole paragraph, you're gonna forget, you're gonna goof up, and then you're gonna try to redo it all, and it's just gonna seem scripted. Whereas if and at a certain point, you can start to do bullet points. If you start to know exactly what you're talking about, you can just look at your bullet points and be like, okay, this is my next point. I'm going to talk about this.
And that's what I was going to recommend. We are getting to the top of the hour, so I want to make sure that if you know, anybody has any last minute questions, but that was kind of, you know, my final recommendation. When I was doing videos and having to do very long form stuff as well, and exactly like you're saying, it's very difficult to remember and memorize the entire, you know, not only all the content, but the way it flows. So something that I used to do was memorize my, let's say, script, whatever you want to call it, in little bite-sized morsels. So I would remember paragraph by paragraph, and then I would have bullet points, exactly like you're mentioning, Jeff, on my computer. So it wasn't hey, this is Logan with StreetText, yada, yada, yada. It was simply you know, I'd have my, hey, this is Logan with StreetText, ... And I knew that after I had that starter, I knew exactly what I was to say next. And then it helps you from the ums and ers. So if you don't have editing software and you're just filming everything, say, through BombBomb, that's how I would do it, is memorize my pieces, piece by piece by piece, and then have the bullet point starter. And I put that on a notepad and I crash it right up against the camera. So I'm not reading by any stretch, I'm simply speaking. But then again, I know exactly what my next starter was, and it kind of helped to keep me on track. And that worked really well for me, and something I would recommend for everybody. But again, the worst thing you can do with video is not do it at all. I'll just say that, you know, start doing the video. If you're not doing it right now, get yourself out there, and you'll find that you know, the clients will start responding back to it. So really, really good stuff, Jeff. Thanks so much for your shares here today. That was fantastic. And yeah, I mean, we're at the top of the hour here, so we'll just kind of open the floor for one more minute. If anybody has any questions, if anybody has any like to share, Leon, you unmute yourself. Go ahead and
Yeah, one thing I was going to say about videos too, we have to remember, just like web pages, there's 4 billion other pages out there. If you're going to do video, tag them. You have keywords in YouTube and other things you can do. And tagging, it goes back to like what Jeff was saying, kind of along his background pictures, keywords, real estate related, that will get you views and get you traffic. I've been playing with the YouTube shorts lately, and I'll make a YouTube short for my newest listing, and I'll put the links below to see the newest full, if they want to see the full length. But I've noticed I've gotten views. I put one out there, I had almost 3,000 views in 10 days on a video I did for a short, and it drove them to my other full length feature on that, because people want to see it right now. That's just how many better, how many bad, it works or it doesn't. So just remember, when you're doing that, tag your videos. You'll get more traffic that way.
Awesome. Yeah. So great mastermind as always, you guys. We'll kind of leave it there. I think we've all absorbed some pretty good information. Obviously, if you guys want to keep the conversation going in the StreetText Insider group, please do. If you guys have any more questions for Jeff or for anybody on this call, or anything that you'd like to add that you didn't get a chance to, you know, definitely add it to the Insider group, and we'll keep the conversation going in there. And nice to see everybody on here. And again, we'll see you guys all next Wednesday, if not sooner. Right on. Enjoy the rest.